Good morning. I'm Marty Dickens. I want to welcome you to this wonderful opportunity that we have today, this ribbon cutting. It is indeed another great day in the life of Belmont University. And as we always do on these special events, we like to thank God for the opportunity we have. So would you join me for a word of prayer? Heavenly Father, we thank you for the blessing of Belmont University and the opportunity for all of us to be involved. We thank you for this wonderful opportunity to expand our reach. We ask that you grant us the wisdom and the judgment and the discernment that will enable us to do all we do in your name, and that we glorify you by our actions here in this part of greater Nashville. You're allowing us to expand this reach. Help make sure that we do it the way you would have us do it. We thank you for this beautiful building. We thank you for the men and women who are involved in bringing it to reality. And we thank you for this opportunity. It's in Christ's name we ask these things. Amen. And now I'd like to introduce our esteemed president, Bob Fisher.
Thanks, Mike. Marty was supposed to sing the national anthem. You forgot. I forgot. But is this a great country or what? Let's just say that and move on. The opportunities that we have in this country to grow our businesses and to prosper, it's just worth pausing and certainly giving thanks for that. And as Marty prayed about our reach and our involvement, I was just reminded of a little plaque that I think Paula Gill gave me 12 or 14 years ago. Remember when the guy Jabez, the obscure guy, suddenly became really famous with the prayer of Jabez. And that prayer, just a couple of sentences long, that, asking God to expand his reach and that we do no harm. So we're here to do no harm and to expand our reach even further into Williamson County. And we're honored and pleased that all of you are here to join us as we announce this today. And we're especially excited that so many of you made a special effort to be here, and I want to recognize some of the guests, and I always say this, that everybody in this room deserves to be recognized because obviously you're a friend and a supporter and somebody cheering for us. But I did want to recognize Nancy Conway, who's the Senior Vice President for Community Relations. Thank you for being here today. We'll have, I think, we had RSVPs from 29 members of the Williamson County Chamber who are here, and we just thank you all for showing up and cheering for us today and supporting us. We have folks here today who helped build this beautiful facility. The building owner, Wesley Shutt. Where are you, Wesley? There he is, in the door, holding up the door. Thank you. We love our partnership, and we're glad you're here. And we want to, whatever you do upstairs, don't make those too long-term leases. We want to eventually just keep going here. Also from Southland Constructors, Buddy Kassinger and Jeff Klontz are here. Thank you all for being here. They're back in the back. Seems like the building guys always are in the back, but we put you in the foreground today to say thank you for such a beautiful job, and thank you for working with us to make this happen. From Trice Realtors, Terry Rice and Sana Robinson are here. Thank you all for coming out and being a part of this. Then from Belmont folks, our Massey board members, Gene Cheatham is here representing the Massey board. We'll be doing a lot of business courses here. Trustees here today are Bill Lee, Randy Smith, and Ron Knox. And I always pause here to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Ron doesn't have to RSVP. He cannot hide. We're glad all of you are here. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for all the support you give to us every day at Belmont and to our students. We have some folks here representing our School of Business Ethics Board, Harry Allen, Nancy Leach, W. Boyd Smith, and Robert Upton, along with Dean Pat Raines. Thank you all. Just if you're one of those people, wave at us. I know some of them are here. and also from our Young Alumni Council, Brian Dunn. Brian, thank you for being here as well. This building represents not our first rodeo in Williamson County. We've been here 13 years, Matt. I asked Matt, you know, we're going to share a secret of that presidents and economic developers have. And it's like when you come up with numbers, you just kind of do that. I said, Matt, how many years have we been in Williamson County? And he said, I don't know. Nobody here will know. Just say 12 or 13. So if it's 12 or 13, then it's 13. But we have been over across the interstate and a little further north. But we've come, I think, to the most perfect setting for what we want to do and what we want to accomplish and how we want to be a part of this community here in Williamson County with what's going to happen down the street with Ovation, what's already happened to the north of us with all the great corporate headquarters and the great companies up and down McEwen, and Healthways right over here, and Nissan down the road, and Community Health over here, and you name it. Plus Ramon lives right up here, Ramon Cisneros. When he told me that, I knew we were in the right neighborhood. You know, there he is, yeah. So it's just a great convergence of the present and the future of Williamson County. So we're really excited to be here and to be a part of that. I think we have about 10 classes now meeting here, and all of them in the evening right now, all in the evening. So this space is not that heavily used in the daytime. And we just want to invite you, those of you a part of this community, to think of ways that you could utilize a space like this. We'd love for it to become a center for community coming together. Nancy, maybe you can help bring in some folks to share this space. We certainly want you to think about how your business or organization might utilize a space like this too. So as you look around, think, you know, it's like I got to ask for a sale along the way here for sure. So we're excited about the prospect of bringing others into this space as well. So with that said, I want to introduce I'm just going to introduce one person, but I'm going to say a word about both of them. And it's sort of a small world moment that I want to say about both of them, because when I first came to Belmont, Eleanor Dunn was my administrative assistant. And she was the most wonderful woman, most gracious, elegant, sweetest, but tough when she needed to be kind of woman, just outstanding. And so Brad's mother served as my administrative assistant during the early years that I was here at Belmont, and we cherish the memory of your mom and your dad, and it's so great to see that her hopes are coming true. That her son's growing up to be a good boy, a fine, upstanding young man, and I'll let Matt introduce Brad in just a minute. But then Matt Largent is if I had another son, it'd be Matt. It's almost like I've known Matt since he was three. Since we're lying, man. 13. He and my son competed against one another in junior tennis for a lot of years in Arkansas, and then eventually became partners in junior tennis, and then became partners in college, and were tennis players together. So I've seen Matt in every possible way, and you know, winning and losing, but mostly winning, and achieving some really remarkable things we won't go into, I think. But I am so excited that what Matt has done as he's come here to Middle Tennessee and has provided leadership for this chamber. And Matt, come on. I can't say anything else.
Well, thanks, Dr. Fisher. I appreciate that. And truly, Bob has been like a second father to me for decades now. So I really appreciate our friendship with you and your entire family. I treasure that. A few weeks ago, during the church service that I attend, there was a quote on the bottom of the program from Mark Twain. And it said, the two most important days in a man's life are the day he's born and the day he finds out why. I've had the privilege of hearing Dr. Fisher talk to freshmen and their parents during orientation to Belmont. And he talks about Belmont's solemn responsibility to help the kids find out why. And he talks about marshaling the resources of Belmont students and the faculty to help kids understand how they can use their God-given talents and abilities to make this world a better place. And I've seen the looks on the kids and their parents when Bob gives this speech, and the moment they realize they've made the best choice possible when they pick Belmont. I think in addition to all the great things from a business standpoint that this center is going to mean for Williamson County and for the region, more important than anything like that is going to be the fact that people of all ages are going to get a chance to get that instruction from Belmont to realize their own unique talents and abilities and how they can make a difference in this county and in this region and in this world. So for that, we are very much appreciative of Belmont and your presence here and your presence going forward. It's my pleasure now to get a chance to introduce Brad Dunn. Brad, in addition to doing a little banking on the side for Pinnacle, is the reason why we have a unified organization. Now, Bob is the reason I'm here. Brad's the reason we've got a unified chamber. So Brad's going to give a student's perspective, alumni perspective of what Belmont means to Williamson County. Brad?
Wow, well, in the continuing spirit of exaggeration and hyperbole, thank you, Matt. There are some in this room who may or may not agree with you on that, but I certainly will take credit for what I did, which was small, honestly, but was involved in that process, which is wonderful. You know, I guess I'd start by saying, isn't it awesome that just under 1,000 people showed out for this ribbon cutting today? Which, you know, that's the way a Baptist minister would kind of estimate the crowd, I think, and so... I do thank Dr. Fisher for being here and inviting me to speak and just say a few words. And Matt, thank you for that introduction. It's more than just an honor. And I will tell you, just kind of getting off script a little bit and personal, just to hear your mom's name said, you know, in this context, it's kind of like music. So that was special, and I very much appreciate that. Particularly in this context, she would be amazed at what has happened since she left Belmont and since you arrived. Honestly, it's been a great story. I'm proud to be associated with it. And some of my comments sort of go back to some of those early days of me in Belmont. Actually, I grew up in Nashville and I grew up Baptist, and you can't do either or both without knowing about Belmont. And what we knew and what I sort of knew growing up is it was a music school and a music business school. Over time, it sort of gained that reputation. As I went to consider colleges, Belmont did not hit my radar. I thought at one time probably not anywhere but Belmont, but it really was. It wasn't on the list. And I did get a call though from a fellow named Jerry Warren, whom some of you in this room would know, and he offered me a scholarship to Belmont to play French horn. That is true. That is not an exaggeration. I did wonder, though. I wondered at the time if he had ever heard me play French horn, and saving him the embarrassment and me the extra work of learning how to play the thing, I turned it down. But I never forgot that. You know, I do remember that fondly. The point of my story wasn't about my musical ability or the lack thereof, but it was as I went to college. I spent a couple of years in Knoxville, up on the hill. Getting an education that had very little to do with the classroom or higher education, and found myself at a time, it was really 30 years ago, it was 1985, when I realized I wasn't sure if I was going to go back to college or ever finish college. And in some of those months of consideration, I was introduced and reintroduced to a familiar name, which was Belmont College and Belmont University, obviously. And had the chance to meet with some faculty and staff there who took more of an interest in me and my career as a student and than I probably was taking in myself at the time. So when I think back on those times with Dr. Baxter was one of those guys who kind of helped me kind of put my train back on the track and got me into Belmont and got me through Belmont to a point where in 1987 I remember wearing a black robe on a summer's afternoon, and all I remember about it, any of that graduation ceremony, is that it was hot and that I should throw whatever I'm wearing away as soon as I get home. but it was a couple of years at Belmont that really was formative in so many ways. My mom was there at the time. I think that kind of helped out a little bit with tuition. And but when I think back on that, I got out of school, went into work in the banking industry, and got a call one day from probably the PR or marketing department. And they said, "Hey, would you be willing to do a little ad for Belmont?" And it was print ad. That was way before digital media. And I remember I was sitting at my desk looking like as much of an adult as I could as a young banker, and I had this quote, and my mom kept it up on the board for a long time, and it was, "I found a new level of potential at Belmont." And it sounded like a good quote when I said it, and I read it later years and thought, that didn't even make sense. I mean, kind of potential is what it is, you know, but the truth is, it was real. I realized a new level of potential for what I could do, you know, and what Belmont could help me do in those days. And it's been quite a while, but it's been a great ride. And it's based on stories like mine, I guess, that campus like this, a campus like Belmont Williamson, is so important. I'm going to read just a little bit here. College careers take on different trajectories and require different solutions for today's student. Belmont's commitment to alternative campuses and learning communities, along with those of several others, make the benefits of higher education so much easier to take advantage of for a host of traditional as well as non-traditional students. And for that, we are very thankful in your investment in this community and in our whole region. So in closing, I just add my appreciation and thank you to Belmont, to Dr. Fisher, and to this community for welcoming a new partner here. Thank you very much.